The white people in USA, they are suffering. They are crying all over social media, stating that their life has become very expensive and unbearable. They are begging the black people to intervene so that they can remove this regime. They thought that voting for Trump, everything will be good and it will be best for them. According to these people, black people are the one who are supposed to suffer. They are stating that black people, they suffer because of their skin. And right now, they are the ones suffering in their own country. They're saying that they cannot even afford food. They cannot even afford gas. They're saying that they even think that Trump is after them, that Trump wants to finish all of them. They're saying that Trump was supposed to make America great again, but right now it's worse because of the VAT, because of the tariffs. It has increased taxation and a lot of people cannot even afford food. They're saying that they are regretting voting for Trump and they want everyone to intervene, to come together and remove this regime. To be honest, I don't think the black people, they are going to join them because they want them not to vote for Trump, but they do not listen.
We must talk about this. We have to talk about the status of the farmers. Yep, the farmers. That overwhelmingly, the white farmers that overwhelmingly voted for Trump. Now, the farmers are asking for welfare from the government because a lot of them are losing their farms because the subsidies that they get from the government, they can't afford the farms without the subsidies in many cases. And they're like, look, we need help. But here's the difference. When the black farmers ask for help, the white farmers filed a lawsuit. They filed a lawsuit against the black farmers for asking for assistance from the federal government. And they weren't able to receive the assistance from the government because of the white farmers filing the lawsuit. Question is, do you think farmers, white farmers, should receive the help, the same help that the black farmers had asked for, and they filed a lawsuit? Should the black farmers do the same thing and file a lawsuit? Get in the comments. Let me know.
Brothers and sisters, now we've seen a lot of MAGA supporters coming out to call out the black people to speak on their behalf, that the system they voted in, the government they voted in, has turned against them. Now they are calling out the black community to come and speak on their behalf. They believe it is the black community who can save them at the moment. Let's watch, then discuss.
There are a lot of farmers that are really hurting right now because of these tariffs. And they are really needing some extra help. Trump, I really hope that you can get out there and help them. I know Biden and them put a plan together to subsidize farmers when they were having hard times in situations like this. But Trump, you didn't do that. You're not doing that. And they're asking for you to come out. I heard one guy said that, he said, you said you love the farmer and now he needs the fruit of their labor or something. So I'm curious, is this administration going to help out the farmers? Because they're needing some help. A lot of people are calling it socialism, that they don't like it. But it is what it is. You think the farmers are going to get the help they need? What do you think? You think President Donald Trump's going to come through for them? I hope so. You know, we got pulled up by our bootstraps, a lot of these people.
I'll never understand why Republicans continuously vote for people who do not represent them at all, but rather represent the elites. Listen to these farmers in Arkansas, who all voted for Trump, by the way, pleading for his help because he is actively destroying their farms and their futures.
Now, I've never been as worried as I am now about whether or not my kids and grandkids will be able to carry on.
He said, I love you, Mr. Trump. I need to see the fruit of your love.
5 of my customers have committed. That's how serious that this is.
These aren't isolated stories either. It's happening across the entire United States to rural farmers. They are having their livelihoods crushed. Farmers have spent years, decades even, building their legacy only to have it slip away under the guise of Donald Trump's tariffs. Customers losing hope and choosing to take their own lives. Farmers not being sure if they're going to be able to pass along their farms or not because they're going bankrupt This type of despair demands our attention. As I mentioned before, the root of all of this suffering is coming from the guy that they all voted for, Donald Trump. His tariffs on steel and parts have made tractors, combines, and repairs far more expensive. Fertilizer prices are also skyrocketing, with some people reporting hundreds of dollars of an increase per ton. This, of course, raises production costs across the entire board. Many farmers were also relying on grants promised by Joe Biden, which Donald Trump took away. They thought they were going to receive this money, and then Donald Trump canceled it. Additionally, soybean farmers are getting crushed right now, with China, their main buyer, dropping U.S. purchases this year to zero. Of course, this was in response to Donald Trump's tariffs, and that's a demand collapse they haven't seen in decades. We're seeing the evidence in front of our eyes every single day. Donald Trump's policies are destroying the United States.
Arkansas farmers are praying for mercy, for help, because they are going bankrupt due to Trump's tariffs. And it's terrible because they voted for these tariffs, and then they are being bankrupted by the very I mean, it is crazy, patriots. It's almost like I vote for the guillotine, and you're like, please, I love my head. Please, I love my head. Why are they going to take it? You voted for the guillotine to take it. Guys, come on. I don't enjoy any global patriots hurting. I told you so. I'm not a FAFO type of spirit. Woosah. I'm wishing all of you farmers the best, but I'm here to let you know the Lord is not going to be your answer. The answer was all of the workers that they took off of your farms. The answer is voting differently for everyone. You have to vote in your best interest. And no, it's us versus them. Are you a billionaire, farmers? Because I'm not. So you and I have that in common. They are billionaires. You don't have that in common with them. Do you see that? Isn't that interesting? Left to right, we have so much more in common than billionaires to us. Think about it. I'm just saying, I'm a man for peace. I wish the farmers the best, but I also have to say it is going to get worse. Where is all the workers? Where's the work going to come from? How are we going to get? And in return, we all get screwed because grocery prices, I don't know who's saving money at the grocery store. I pay at least $500 a week in groceries. That's $2,000 a month. Let me know, what do you guys spend at the store? Secret Service Sam Out Sampson for president of TikTok.
Well, I did it again, damn it. Went down that damn rabbit hole, and it was fun. Because I strolled down this hole of farmers that are mad because they're about to lose their farm. Because that federal grant money hasn't shown up yet. And they don't know what to do. And all of them crying. But damn it, in every freaking video, all of them, and I mean all of them, except for maybe one or two, all of them voted for Trump. So why are you complaining is my question. You voted for this. You asked for this stupidity. You complaining that you're about to lose your farm because you voted for a man who told you what he was going to do. But that's your freaking fault. Because you voted for your whiteness instead of voting your heart. Because you didn't want to see that black lady in office. So you voted for that white man. And you knew he was a crook. You knew he was a thief. You knew he was going to do all the dumb shit because you've seen it before. But you mad because you're about to lose your farm. Some of them crying. This land been in my family forever. Yeah. Because it was given to you a long, long time ago. And I ain't crying. And I ain't mad. And I don't care. Because that's what you get for voting for your whiteness. You voted for your whiteness instead of voting for the proper person that you knew was good for that job. But you wanted that man in office that bad You didn't want her in office. You can't say you voted for the lesser of two evils. You voted his color, not his character. And before we get off of this, y'all know what to do. Hit the heart, share the video, do what we do. This TikTok, damn it. You knew better, but you did it. See, this land that y'all got for free, that's been passed down through the generations, that we didn't get our 40 acres of the mule. So why are we gonna be mad because you about to lose yours? This is by design. All of those corporations are buying up farmland across the freaking country. This is on purpose. But you've yet to realize that. Kamala had you saved. The money was appropriated. It was there. But you had to vote for Trump. You knew what he was. You knew what kind of guy he is. But you voted your color. And you thought you was going to get that privilege. But now you understand. If you ain't worth 7, 8 figures, he don't give a shit about you. Or your cousin, or your sister, or your auntie. Nobody. Now you look like me to him. Because you ain't got it like that. So, I'm sorry you about to lose your land. But I really don't give a damn. Because you knew better. All of you. But you wanted to vote for your privilege and your color instead of who was deserving and who was better. So blame yourself. Blame your neighbor. Blame the people down the street. It ain't our fault. It's on you.
U.S. farmers are regretting their vote for Donald Trump after their business suffers. Womp womp. Since China implemented their tariffs, farmers are suffering because soybean farmers, especially in the Midwest, are not being able to export as much as they're used to. I wonder why. Yet they voted for him anyway. They voted for him about 2 or 3 times, actually. I don't know how you thought voting for him would help you in your business when creating tariffs will probably hurt you. And he's said he's going to do this multiple times, but you know. Another example of Americans thinking that other parts of the world need them the most. Brazil is the #1 soybean import for China. They don't need the U.S. Brazil is steadily increasing the production year after year after year, while the U.S. has remained stagnant. And y'all thought Donald Trump getting in office will help y'all? You put somebody in office who directly hinders your business. I need these people to take a survey so I can understand why they make the decisions that they do. But again, womp womp. You put somebody in office because of reasons, and now you're paying the price because of those same reasons. You just thought they wouldn't affect you.
Here in Missouri, we were proud to vote for President Trump, but now we're definitely regretting it. Last year under Biden, we got approved for a $250,000 cost-sharing contract with the Department of Agriculture to improve our water systems on our 300-acre cattle farm. It's beneficial to both parties because we get a break on the cost of labor and construction putting these new pipes in, and the general population gets healthier cattle, healthier beef, etc. So basically we front all the costs for the labor and construction and then they reimburse us. But in January and now in this month, Trump's put all these executive orders to freeze all these contracts. So we've already fronted over $100,000 getting these new pipes in, and now we're not going to get reimbursed. If we call and ask, they say they don't know when the funds are going to be there or if they're going to be there at all. I couldn't believe that Trump would do this to us. We've always supported him. But then my friend sent me an article on what he used to do as a real estate mogul in New York, and apparently he didn't pay companies all the time that he did business with. So I don't know if this is ever going to get solved. We can't afford
Hi, I am a farmer, and something we may have been hearing a lot from farmers is we're having a big emergency financially because of the tariffs and the trade war. And something I keep hearing is we were lied to. We didn't think Trump would do this. So as someone who is a farmer and was a farmer during the Trump 2024 election cycle, in fact, I was running for office as Commissioner of Agriculture in my home state of North Carolina. Let me tell you what the conversation in agriculture was actually like. I can't recall anybody who actually thought Trump wasn't going to start a trade war. What do you mean we were lied to? Everyone knew this was going to happen. Because for one thing, he was running on starting a trade war with China again. And for another, he already did it once. Everybody knew this was going to happen. Everybody in agriculture knew this was going to happen. And as someone who's a farmer and not necessarily aligned politically with most farmers, I found that kind of confusing, just like most people do. Oh, I should mention, in 2024, I was running as a Democrat, right? So I was talking with farmers and I was talking about politics with people. Everybody knew Trump was going to start a trade war because he ran on that. He campaigned on that and he already did it once. Everybody knew he was going to do this. Now, like most people, I thought this is insane. How are farmers whose job depends on exports going to support a guy who is promising to destroy their business? I got an opportunity to sit down with the farm lobbyist, and credit to him, he did actually sit down with me because I was running as a Democrat. A lot of farm spokespeople just wouldn't. And I asked him point blank, I said, hey, we all know this is going to happen. We all know this is his plan to start a trade war that is going to hurt your businesses just like it did last time. We all know this, right? And he said, yep, yeah, we know. And I said, then explain to me why we're supporting this guy. Make it make sense to me. I said, explain it to me like I'm 5, because I am a Democrat, so you'll have no trouble speaking to me like I'm 5. So let's start with that. And he said, listen, we understand there's some risks with being part of the Trump coalition.
Kansas farmers are publicly regretting voting for Donald Trump and wish they would have read Project 2025 now that Donald Trump's policies are directly affecting them, specifically the cuts to USAID funding, which would have been used to purchase farmers' goods. Listen to what the executive director of the Kansas Farmers Union had to say about it.
There are a lot of people who are very concerned out there who voted for this administration. But, they wrote it all down in Project 2025. I guess we should have paid a little closer attention to what was in that.
Yeah, you probably should have. It's not as if people weren't warning you. It's not as if Kamala Harris went out every single day and warned Americans about Project 2025. But you believe the guy that can never tell the truth when he said, I know nothing about it. And now you're suffering. But the worst part is we're all suffering. There's hungry people around the world that are being affected by that funding cut. So yes, welcome to the find out phase. We're all here. Have a seat. Grab yourself some ramen. It's the only thing that's cheap anymore. And enjoy.
That's why the farmers say they voted for Trump, y'all. Because they were only going to harm, Trump was only going to harm illegitimate Americans, us, because we're supposed to be illegitimate, I guess. Black people, so we fit into 2 categories now. People of color, we fit a 3rd category? Wow. And immigrants, which we all are, including the farmers, y'all. It says, they knew for certain that Trump planned on making America great again by wreaking havoc on the lives of millions of Americans. However, they were fine with it because they thought that their lives would improve by Trump unleashing cruelty. Listen, this goes back to everybody always saying this, y'all. They ain't worried about nothing Trump's doing until they come to their front doorstep. Now all of a sudden they concerned. You wasn't concerned last year when you took your ass down there in November and voted for this motherfucker. Now look at what you're doing. You're down here begging Trump for some money.
Here we go again. Another fuck around and find out moment. This one, Arkansas farmers. Yep, Arkansas farmers who voted overwhelmingly for President Trump. Well, here's a quote from one of those Arkansas farmers, and I'm going to do it in my best Arkansas accent. Right now, we're in a very dire situation. September is upon us. Harvest is starting in the deep south, and we have 0 bushels of soybeans on the books to be sold to China. Yeah, no shit. You voted for the tariff guy. And now Arkansas farmers want a handout. They want federal assistance. This poor ass red state that votes Republican every freaking year. They want a handout. You damn socialists. I guess you're finding out that racism sure is expansive, huh? Fucking dumbasses.
U.S. farmers are starting to regret their vote for Trump. From beekeepers to soybean to hay producers, all of them are starting to say, I never thought that voting for Trump 3 times would result in me losing tens of thousands of dollars. A beekeeper out of North Carolina says, yeah, I proudly voted for Trump all 3 times. I flew flags for him and put signs for him in the yard. But now I'm out tens of thousands of dollars due to lost federal funding and tariffs, so I cannot export my products, my honey and my wax, to other countries like I could before, and nobody's buying it in the United States. Hay producers in Idaho and Utah that export alfalfa hay to China are now seeing 135% tariffs put on their product, and all of a sudden, they don't have anywhere to ship it. They held it all winter in hopes of sending it off to China in the spring, and now China's not willing to buy. Soybean producers are once again being hit harder than they were in the first Trump administration, and China, for its part, has diversified where it pulls these products from, with Brazil becoming the #1 soybean exporter and other countries picking up the slack for honey, for beeswax, and for hay around the world. Now, China's doing a great job diversifying, and the United States has relied on exports to China for so long that its farmers are going to just continue to suffer. Once again, the majority of them voted for Trump, and now they're finding out.
John Painter, a Pennsylvania farmer and dairyman, said he voted for Donald Trump 3 times because he believed in his policies and everything. Now he's getting crushed. He needs help. He's not getting it for Trump, and he regrets his vote. Sir, now this is a white man. You can't regret your vote. You stood 10 toes down to vote for Donald Trump 3 times. And now you're not going to get the help you need. He's crushing you. You may lose your farm, your land, and your business. That's on you. We have no buyer's remorse for you. We don't care what happens to you, sir, because you, in Pennsylvania of all places, voted for Donald Trump 3 times. You're getting exactly what you deserve. You wanted this. So if you are succeeding, you are successful, congratulations. We love it. If you are not successful, sir, and you lose everything, this is on you because you voted for this. He told you exactly what he was going to do. So don't cry foul now. Don't cry wolf. Don't get mad, John Painter. It's over with for you. God bless America. God bless you too. And I hope you recover from this.
Now, a lot of the people who voted for the same government that has turned them down or turned short of the expectations. You know, most people expected a lot from the same government they voted. Now, the same government that they have turned against at the moment, most of the people feel like the government has lost touch with the people, that the government is now operating on its own, that it doesn't care about the people who voted for it. It doesn't care about everything it promised to the people. The policies it did put in place, the policies that they campaigned on during the campaign trail, it is a lot happening for the same people who voted for this government. My question has always been, why do you do the same mistake thrice? If you did the same mistake today, but repeated it, then regretted, then never repeated it, it is good. But what becomes of you when you vote the same mistake thrice, or you make the same mistake thrice, then complain later on that things are not working out, that the tariffs are high for us, that we as farmers don't have workers, we as the people who voted for this government are not well contented or satisfied with the same government. We need the person we voted in out. Does it really work that way? Now, let me take a moment to say this to all of the people who feel like they have been betrayed by the political class. I don't think there is any politician who betrayed you. You know your politicians better, and we always have the illusions, and we've always been so delusional to think that these people have changed overnight. Forests might change, you know. Trees might grow old and others planted, but the monkeys still remain the same. The baboons will still remain the same with the same character. Now, What do I mean by saying this? We have remained the same, however much the politicians have changed. Those that were there, those that are no longer existing, we have a new generation of politicians. We still believe in them. We still believe that they are going to be the messiahs and to change the way things have been in our countries, that they are going to bring the prices of goods down, they are going to make our country work out, that they are going to make every other resources in our countries well used, and that they are going to lower the taxes and make sure the money they collect is being used well. Who lied to you? Political class is the same. Now, most of the people who voted do not have workers. They don't have jobs. They're getting a lot of losses from their farms. Most of them are even contemplating to burn down or to bring down the black farms that are still operational. And there is something that people might want to understand, or people must understand today, that most of the black community has suffered a lot over time. Most of them, in fact, all of them have had a rough background, or a background that, or an environment which didn't favor them, And for this one reason, most of them have adapted to a harsh environment, that they do well even when the environment doesn't favor them. Unlike when our brothers and sisters who are now complaining at the moment, they have had some favors that have been given to them over time. The farmers have had some favors given to them, some loans, some grants given to them by the government, so that they might not come down. Unlike the black farmers who have had a lot of difficulties, because even if they went and voted Democrat, it has always been the same. The struggles have always been the same. So when they see the struggles that are happening right now, the tariffs and all these other things, it looks normal to them. It's just like a very other normal day in their lives, because if things are not working out, if things have never worked out for them, what makes it hard at the moment when it is not working for them? It looks normal on them. So it's very sad to see most of the people becoming very violent or becoming very aggressive with the black community for not supporting them. It is not written anywhere that they must support you, because I feel like when the black community had their problems, no one came to support them. So I feel like they're trying to alienate or separate themselves to remain silent, because they have always been in their wars alone. Now, this is not whatever we want. We want a united front of all human beings. We do not want a continent or a world where people have been divided on the basis of color, politics, social class, and all these other things. Let's consider coming together as the people, so that we might not give the political class much power or much control over us. Let's remember we are all people of the human race, and however much things get worse, we need to be together. Now, what benefit do you have by bringing down black farms? What benefits do you have if actually you get aggressive with the people who didn't vote for the person that you're now complaining about? What does it really benefit you with? The only thing that can benefit us all is coming together as the people and realizing that we all made a mistake at one point, and we need to apologize and move on, unite. Now, let's start voting policies, good policies. Let's drop identity politics. Let's cut off all these politicians who are trying to divide the masses for their own good. The political class is serving their own interest at the expense of the people who voted them in. We all know that when we unite against the political class, then they are done. So what do? They always make sure that we are divided. Sometimes I'm even left wondering, when are we going to see all the things that are being done to us? The same governments we complain about are the same government we recycle time to time, are the same politicians we bring them, clean them, then they get to be as white as snow, then get them back to these powers that they have misused for the longest. It is time we should realize that we all need a wake-up call, that no one is coming to save you all. No one is coming to save me. No one is coming to save your country. That you are the one who can save your country. The political class is only obsessed with powers that they get when you elect them. The powers they have misused, the powers they use to loot, the powers that they have extravagated to corruption, the powers that they have always used against you. So who is to be blamed? Is it the political class, or you who gives them power from time to time? You who sanitizes them when they're found with corruption? You who dies for them when it really doesn't matter, and they do not care about you? It is time we should arise and beat politics of hatred, politics of division, politics that have always trained us down the trenches, and start rooting for politics that are healthy, the politics of unity and the politics of good policies. That's the only thing that is going to save America, that is going to save Europe, that is going to save Africa, that is going to save the Caribbean. If we are not going to be very careful, then we are doomed as the people, because you elect the same people, we recycle the same politicians each time. Each time we try to go to election, we are always left with two decisions we are left with two choices, and there is no better choice between the two. So you try to go for a lesser evil. We might want to create a third option for ourselves, that it is not always about the two political parties, or it is not always about two people. It is not always about who says what or who is going to vote who. It is always going to be about someone who is very visionary and someone who wants to change the country, someone with a good track record. That's whatever we want to consider and continue doing for the next few years and for the next generations. I'm very, very sad when I see a lot of mothers coming out online to start crying about the things that are ongoing, the things that are happening to them, that they cannot actually feed their families. They have to go from 2 to 3 shifts in a day to make a living, to pay mortgages, to pay their taxes. It's very sad. It is because capitalism is killing you. Capitalism is bringing down the things that we always fought for, the things that we thought we really didn't want. Capitalism is whatever is taking most of our lives today. So you have to be working each day in, out, to make sure that your mortgages are being paid, everything is being settled, the bills, the kids are going to school, and many other things. Why can't we change our mentality? We've always used the mentality that was brought by the system, the systems that they installed, and the systems that they've always made some people have access to things that others could not do. The systems that have always been there, that are being safeguarded by the same people you elect, who are masquerading themselves as saviors. I've seen a lot in Africa, I've seen a lot in Europe, I've seen a lot in the US and every other part in the world, that politicians have always presented themselves as saviors, but later on brought you miseries that you didn't have. Then another politician will come out, pretending to be coming to save you, that is, they're coming to save you. Then later on you find they're worse than the ones you voted in. So you've always had options that are not good, because that's whatever was meant for you. That's whatever it has always been. Why can't we be bright enough to change things that have always affected us? If you are very bright, we are not going to cry. We are not going to be there sobbing for someone or asking for someone to do to us things that we can do to ourselves. Very sad indeed. We can talk, but if we don't take actions, is as much as nothing. Thank you so much.